So we're going to start with part 2. Now, we've had the piece of equipment up and running, the CR10 S5 up and running for a few months now, and we've gone through what we call the learning curves, or what we've learned from this. First of all, let's start off with a couple things that I wish I would have known when I first started. I did a lot of research into it, and felt like I had enough research, but there was a couple things that I didn't look into. One of them is going to be spare parts. You're going to want to try to find as many spare parts. I go to Wish and I buy them. I'm sure whoever you want to get them, you can find them. Your wheels, your mechanical rolling wheels, you're going to want those. Your tips, your 0.4 tips, you're going to want a gaggle of those, because you're going to go through them pretty quick. This thing will clog. If it clogs up on you, try to clean that out. You'll be down if you don't have this ready to go. Second thing is scaling. Scaling has been whooping me since I've started this. What I mean by scaling is when you 3D print something, you don't know what size you're going to be 3D printing something in it. This is what I've come up with. I've printed them way too small, or I've printed them way too big. So scaling has been one of those things. So if you're looking to get into 3D printing, look into a scaling program. I haven't found one yet. I'm sure one exists. There's 100 different ways I've seen of people doing scaling. I have taken a notebook. Every time I 3D print something, I take a notebook. I write everything down about what I'm printing, how I'm printing it, what degree I'm printing it at, what's my fill, what's my, how much support structure I'm using, where did I get the print, what scale I'm printing it at. And that way, if something goes wrong, I could go back to my book and I could go, okay, this is what I printed it out. And before, I used to not do that. So I would print this mask and then go, oh man, what scale did I print that at? And then you have to come back and you reprint it, and it'll be 1,000 times bigger. So just always keep that in mind, scaling. Get you a notebook, keep it with your 3D printer. I keep one in mind. It's in the other room right now with the computer. Other than that, filament. Not all filament is the same. I learned this the hard way. This right here is a cheap filament. It did not do well. It didn't. Now the inside of it looks great, but the outside I couldn't get the adhesion. I couldn't get it to adhere right. So, and then I had a filament like this that was great. This all printed in one piece. This was movable. It came like this. I didn't have to do anything for it. So that was great. One of the problems that you're going to run into when you're first starting this, and that we ran into, was adhesion. Now, what I mean by adhesion is there's going to be a point in time when you're going to have to level this bed, and you'll level this multiple times. And the people told me when I first got into this, the problem I was going to have is because I wanted such a big 3D printer was going to be to level with it. Now, once I got it leveled the first time and I figured out where my highs and lows are at, you'll see I have a piece of tape here, and I have a couple different things because I know where the low parts are in my plate. I've learned it over doing it so many times now. I know where it's at, so I know where it's going to be level at every single time. Do not let that frustrate you. I know some things about 3D printing can frustrate you, but you got to look at it as a hobby and not as something that you're just going to be mass producing all the time, or you'll get frustrated with it and you're not going to want to do it anymore. Other than that, Thingiverse has been great. Nico Industries, if you're wanting to buy some 3D prints, that they're great. There are plenty of Facebook pages to go to. I'll probably put some links on there for that. Cura has been a wonderful slicer software. It took me a little while to get around it as far as how that works. I also would recommend to get a couple different additional SD cards. I tried to hook up my computer directly to this, and it didn't work out so well. But got a few extra SD cards so I can slop them in and slop them out. And you'll notice here that I have a piece of rope that kind of holds my wire up. So as it builds up, you're going to want there, because there's going to be a slack in it. Other than that, you'll know I keep these well oiled. I keep them oiled on a general basis, but I've had this machine running just about 24/7 since I've owned it. Besides replacing a couple wheels, I have had to replace the hot end already once. After 400 or 500 hours of printing, I went ahead and bought another hot end. I bought the complete hot end. I think it was 30, 40 bucks. You can buy them. And here's all my spare parts drawer. I do carry just about everything for spare parts for this thing. And the reason for that is, if it fails, then you have to go and look for it. And I've probably only got about $100 in spare parts, and that's enough. The hot end was 30 bucks. I got a couple other wheels. They were 10 bucks. So there's plenty of options out there to find the spare parts, but I recommend getting those immediately. And also, before you get too far into this, don't start upgrading I know everybody says, man, you want to upgrade this, you want to upgrade that. Don't upgrade anything until you learn your printer. Because once you start upgrading stuff, you're not going to know where your failure rates are at. Like, I know this is a basic model. I haven't upgraded this yet. But when I start upgrading it, if I start having the problems, well, I'll be able to look back and I'll go, okay, this is doing this because I changed this. If you immediately start upgrading your printer as soon as you get it, and you've never done printing before, you won't know where you're having your problems are at. So I always recommend for you to print about 6 months, if not more, up down. I haven't even started this yet. It's still everything's stock on it. I haven't gotten to a comfortable rate yet where I felt like, hey, I'm ready to start upgrading this printer. But man, I hope this helps y'all, and we continue to go on with you, man. We've printed some great stuff, you know, and it has it's been awesome. I've really enjoyed it. I could not do anything but recommend this printer and the people that are backing up on all this. So here's some of the stuff that we've printed. Some stuff for the makeup cases and lithographs, some movable belts, dice trays, masks, gauntlets. So there hasn't been much we ain't printed with this so far. But I hope this video helps, man. Y'all like, subscribe, and follow us, man, and we'll get you another video out to you. Y'all have a good one.